What do you think about like what's your approach on social media? What was it like before? How did you change it? Because I know I had to make some big changes too.
Yeah, I'll be honest. I can get a little obsessive with scrolling. When you post something hoping
Everyone.
that people like it or share it, and you know, I feel this internal pressure, and this is just me speaking, and this is not about against any of my colleagues. And I adore the people that I see who I really care about as colleagues and friends. When they get opportunities that I could also do, that messes with my head. I'm like, why didn't I
Mm,
get called? Or, why didn't this person say yes to being on my show but is on someone else's show? Right? When we're in
right.
the similar world or,
That's
similar vibe or
unfortunate.
energy. Yeah, it messes with my head. It does. It's a topic that I talk to my therapist often about, of that pressure of frustration. Um, and when I first started on social media, it was more to show camaraderie of a man, fatherhood, and my wife and I were going through infertility. So it was like IVF stuff. So it was more of just like sharing, hey, this happens. Um, but was convinced that I have to post every day or else. I don't know what the or else was or what the goal of posting was to be. But when I started having kids and realizing how important my time is, as well as not really caring as much, it still gets to me, like I said, about that. I hope people see this. It gets to me. It does on some days where certain things or someone gets asked to speak at a conference and I'm like, hello. But it's the idea that I was not feeling value in my posts every day. I felt so
Yeah.
much pressure to come up with a snappy thing or a cute idea with something. And also over time, I came out with, a color scheme that worked that I liked that had to do with my website and all these different things. So kind of more of a branding. Still not perfect, but I don't care anymore to be perfect. And that to me was a huge shift. Was if I want to post, I'll post. And if I don't have time because I have a private practice, a podcast, and two kids, and a family and a wife,
And friends and hobbies.
like
Yeah.
that's okay. And if I happen to post, it's because I really believe in what it is, and the post is going to be because I value it and think that it might help somebody. And if I don't value that post right now in this day, like if you look, I use Canva. I save them into my phone, into like ideas that I'm thinking about. I have so many that I haven't posted because I'm not feeling that right now, but I felt it 2 weeks ago, but I wasn't ready to post it. So it's more of just giving myself freedom and love and compassion that if someone likes it, they'll like it. If they see it, they see it. Maybe the algorithm will be nice that day. Maybe it won't. That has nothing to do with me. But if I really feel it, but there's such a hardship of comparison and value of numbers, and people play into that. I mean, if I email someone to be on my show or to be on their show, and then they ask for my media deck with my numbers, and they were into it before, and then see our media deck and go, you know what, we're going to go a different direction, that hurts because it
Hmm.
means it feels like it's a value of your worth, when in
Yeah.
reality, it's a numbers game of what will get seen, but it doesn't
Right.
feel that way. So it's just realizing there's more to your life than social media, and and I'm speaking to a lot of teenagers right now. Like, hopefully, if they listen to your show, like your life is not social media. It's not TikTok. It's
Mm,
not the dances. It's not likes. And if that's how you go through your life, it's going to be very hard to build real relationships. And it's going to be very hard to live in the moment. It's going to be very hard. You asked me before. I told you over the weekend we were hanging out at this like fake beach in Vegas.
hmm.
We didn't take a lot of pictures because we were with our kids. We were like there for 3 hours. Also, it was water and sand. We didn't want to ruin anything. We left our phones in our bags and we just spent time with our friends and our kids. Other people took pictures of us, actually, and sent them to us. They were using their phones, but we made an effort for ourselves that, like, we need to be in this moment
Yep.
because it's so easy to be pulled away. And that's the hard part, is like social media pulls us away from presence. And I'm not saying it's the worst thing in the world. I would have never been able to meet you if it wasn't for social media
Right.
and get to know your beautiful soul and who you are, right? I would have never had that opportunity. It's really cool. And I've met amazing human beings through social media. My colleagues and some friends. Um, and so there's a beauty to it, but just be careful, be smart, be aware of if you feel like it's messing with you, put it away. If you feel that it's hurting you, put it away. If you feel that you're getting obsessive and you're not in this moment because you're scrolling and, what? And you're not there, put it down. It will be there, I promise. It's not going anywhere, whether that's a good thing or a bad thing. But it's there, and just don't let that control your life. You are the controller of your phone and of your social media, not the other way around. And that was a hard lesson for me.
I was going to say, I think that's an important lesson, but it's also an ongoing lesson because to your
Every
point
day.
earlier, what you were saying and what I did back in December, um, which I mentioned earlier, was what I would say was probably the worst day of my life. It was at that moment where I was like, social media is not helping me. It's actually hurting me, and I shut off notifications, which to this day, my social media notifications, except LinkedIn, I keep LinkedIn on because I that's more my realm of content that I enjoy and create. So I was sitting there and I'm like, these notifications, because you know what? When they're there, they're not helping. When they're not there, they're not helping. Because when they're there, I'm like, what is this? What are they saying? Who's saying what? Who's DMing me? And then when they're not there, it's like, why is no one DMing me? Why is no one commenting? It's like a double edged sword. So I put the mindset that social media is going to be on my time. I'm not going to be on social media's time. And it's been incredibly helpful. And I had a neurologist on my podcast earlier this year, and he was talking about like the dopamine hits that you get and how simple they are and how you don't have to work for them with social media, and especially how bad TikTok is and the amount of time teenagers specifically are spending on it. And he said it's just like raises your baselines to the point where it's impossible to get a dopamine hit without just scrolling endlessly. And I think about that, and I do think about how I feel since I put social media on my time that I've leveled out a little bit on like the highs and lows of that type of stuff. And of course, I don't know way to prove that there's anything actually different going on, but talking to experts, but it makes a big difference. And, I have the same thoughts as you. Why is nobody liking this? Or why, I think I'm shadow banned. So a lot of my stuff doesn't, doesn't go as far as it used to go. But yeah, it is hard. And it does take a beat. I mean, you take a beating when you think about that. The other thing, really quickly, I wanted to touch on. I actually I saw this. I screenshot it because I want to do a video similar to it myself. But it was basically like real life is real life. What you see on social media isn't. Like, don't let what you see on social media upset your real life. Is basically the concept. And I think that's such an important message for everyone to remember because people are sharing the best parts of their life on social media. They are not sharing the lows in most cases. They are not sharing the tough conversations they're having in their life or the trials and tribulations they're going through. They're all sharing the best highlights, right? And
Yeah.
amplifying the story that they're trying to tell instead of the story that is experiencing their life.
Yeah, and I was joking around with you before, like about this beach thing that I could have taken a picture, right? And it was a beautiful setting with palm trees, with beautiful blue skies. I could have told you it was anywhere. And there's actually, I think, a really amazing, sad documentary of Fake Famous on Netflix, I think it is.
Oh gosh. Okay, I already know where that is going.
They interview like 5 people that they convinced to be a part of their like lab
hmm
to see if they can create fame for 5 rando people that have no fame, nothing, like they're not on shows or anything, by buying, and there's so much fakeness behind their fame
Yeah.
and keeping up with that fame, whether it's followers, brand ambassadors, whatever it becomes for them. And it just shows you that you can go to a hangar of an airport and rent airplanes to look like you're in first class and take pictures with a backdrop of landing in certain airports. Or you can go to things, people have houses, these gorgeous houses in LA that they rent out their houses for you to go and take pictures in this really cool atmosphere and tag a hotel or a bar
hmm
that looks similar so that you might be able to get branding, right? So
hmm
you just be careful what you're seeing and how you're seeing it. And yeah, you know, something that I'm trying to do actively, and I just want to share it as much as possible, is I'm trying to
Yeah.
create simplicity of joy and fulfillment. So every day trying to make something that's real, simple, and joyous, whether it's a memory with my kids, whether it's a moment with myself, whether it's just listening to my favorite song for 10, 15 minutes on repeat, just that I am just in this moment of happiness and joy in this world, in the realness of the world. Because sometimes we get pulled away, life gets stressful, it's really hectic, we have an argument with our partner, you know, something happens that's very overwhelming. But I know that I made a moment that's real. So yesterday I took a walk with my brother-in-law and sister-in-law's dog and my son, and sat at a park bench with him eating veggie straws, and he was babbling at me and talking to me, and we just sat there for 10, 15 minutes just being together. That was something I held on to the whole day. That I created,
Mm.
that we created together. It was beautiful, and that's not going away. And I don't have to. And I posted a story about it to talk about this idea, but I don't need to take a picture of it. I don't need
No.
to, post it online. I don't need to, you know, those are the moments we have to create where we don't feel the need to post or have to post, or it's just our moment between
Yeah.
us and ourselves or us and other people. That's beautiful and simple. And I think if we do that, we're going to be able to reset our dopamine levels and be more really happy for real and really have joy, and not fakeness or our brain's hormone levels jumping up because we scrolled a little bit or posted something waiting for that one like, or maybe for some people 10 or 3,000 or 4 million, who
Right.
knows.